Hi Valentina, where are you? You're in Barcelona now, right?
Yes, I'm in Barcelona. It's very hot.
Here it is not very hot. In Wimbledon, it is grey and cold and good reason to stay inside. So I'm very glad you had some time today. I want to show you a little bit of what we've done with Author Reader and also a little bit with views and, of course, AI. So I'm going to share my screen. I have just launched Author. And of course, you know Author. So we're just going to start with doing something basic. So let's just add a citation here. So we do Command T for citation. I'm going to search a good book. If I search for a good book, the information, I see it here, just click on it. And here I get all kinds of information. And then I go to export, which you can only do with the full version of Author, Command Shift E for export. And I have all these options. I could do author date, or I can do hard bracket. We'll do hard bracket because it's magic. Put it on the desktop. And here is the text in a PDF, and it has the citation as a number. Click on that, and I get the basic citation information. So that's pretty cool. But then if I go online and I download a document, which I have done several times, I get something. Right,
Oh,
so
this is awful.
yeah, so let's say you come across a scientific paper like this, you're on your laptop. It's a bit hard to read. So one thing you can do is do list main points with AI.
What is it based on? Is it ChatGPT or the Bard or what?
It's open AI. It's not the chat back and forth. It's the ChatGPT Turbo 3.5 or something, but it is
Okay.
that. Right. So this is a bit slow. I cut some of the speed here on the video, but it is really nice to read, and in my experience, it's quite accurate. However, what I've added today is that normally if you don't select text and you press the space bar, you go from page to page. That's quite normal. But if you select text now and hit spacebar, it takes that text, lifts it up in its own view, as you can see here. And when there is a period, it adds 2 lines. If there's a comma, it adds a single break to make it easier to read. What do you think?
Yeah, it looks great. I'm not a fan of the comma space, but other than that, I really like it.
The comma space, I hear your point clearly. In some types of writing, it is actually really useful because some people write very long paragraphs and there's a lot of commas. So the commas then each have a meaning. But for instance, here, having the word here, comma, that's just, or moreover, comma, that is a mess.
Yeah, it's good for lists for sure. Yes.
And no, I mean, you can do a whole document, but if you do that, you're going to get a lot of garbage coming in. But you can still skim through. Now this is a bit, but at least speed-wise, it is possible. So you asked earlier about which chat. So we use GPT 3.5 Turbo. This is where people will put their OpenAI key. They can edit their all the prompts, both the preface appendices and, well, not appendices, prefaces. Also, this is how, when they open a document, they can choose to have it add metadata or not. And the reason you would want to have metadata added is the second thing to show you today, which is if I just copy text from here, and then I go to author and I paste it, it pastes nicely as a citation, which now when I export, Command Shift E again, I'm going to call this V2. We see it has the citation information here, it has 2 brackets, and then the references, you can see them properly. But I'm going to do something I think is even cooler. So let's say I had written a sentence that refers to something in here. Maybe it refers to something I found here, but I don't want to quote because that would be, it wouldn't have shown a teacher if I'm a student that I've been thinking. I have to paraphrase it. So instead of Command C for normal copy, I do Command Shift C. And then I paste it where I want the citation to be, and it pastes it as a citation, just as you saw. So when I now export, going to call it v3. What happens is it looks like the first one, and the first one, remember you had just that. Now it will show that plus the text that was selected. So the quote is in there. That's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, that's really amazing, I think, for students and the student-teacher relationship, so that one can show that what they've been getting their information, what they've been reading, and the other one can see that they've actually read the bibliography.
Yeah, thank you. So the other part of this is if you are studying a field, an academic field, chances are you download a lot of documents. So in this case, you saw that the PDF that is cited here is actually on my system. So if I now click on the name of this, it opens the original document. And even cooler, let's do another one of these. So I do Command-Shift-C, close that, close this one, and do another citation. Export that as V4. And it has this long bit of text, just the same thing. But if I click on it now, it opens to the correct page in the PDF where I cited from.
Oh, that's cool. Because normally they're quite long articles, right?
Yes, and also what Doug Engelbart called high resolution addressing is not possible in a book anymore because digital books don't allow the outside world to tell it what to do. So at least with a PDF, we can do that here. And all of this is done because all of this good stuff is exported in the visual meta. So the visual meta is what we append at the end of the document to say, first of all, as you can see on top here, what this is. So that's my name, and the file name is version 4. It also has anything else you might want, but with the citations, it has the page range and the page and the quote to allow this to happen. And it does not interfere with the references. The references are normal academic standard. So you get this extra behavior purely because of what's hidden in the visual meta.
And is this at all customizable?
Probably. What do you mean?
I don't know. I'm just thinking that whenever there's something pre-made, then people want to do something else with it, and they think, "Oh, could I do this? Could I do that?" Is this a functionality that will allow for some input, different input from the user, or is it not like that?
Are you talking about the visual meta?
No, the way that you're capturing bits of the text and putting them into the document as a citation, but also being able to then see the part of the text. For example, could you have two separate sections under one citation? Because it's the same document, but I want to.
That's a good question, but no, that's not possible.
Okay.
That's actually, that's kind of interesting. I'm just going to see now, well, this bit will obviously go out as well. Let's see if I find our book. Yeah, tell me more about why you would want that, please.
I don't know, because if let's say I'm trying to demonstrate that I've understood this article, right? And the article talks about a specific topic that I'm highlighting, but in two different points. And both points are important for me to show that I've acknowledged them and understood them. So would I just do like two separate citations and highlighting the 2 points? And that's the only way of doing it? Or do I mention a general point and within that citation, I can copy and paste, let's say, two different sections of the article?
I think you would need two separate citations. This is a bit worrying, by the way. Why are so many of these 0? Is it because they are not downloaded?
Probably in the cloud, right?
Yeah, but Okay, I can open this. Oh no, that's .liquid. Yeah, I've been all focused on my thesis. Okay, let me just go here then to get it, because I wanted to demonstrate something about that. We've been updating the journal as well. It's quite big, so it may take a minute. But what you're talking about now also relates to annotations. And that's something I can show you something about that really relates. So I'm going to put, so here is our book, The Future of Text. And this book is very, very long. If you look at the table of contents here, this book is all these contributors. And of course, this table of content is interactive. So if you want to find out what Bob Stein has written, you just click and you go to his name. But now what? How do you find other things to read? You could go, well, because of visual meta, you could fold the document into an outline and you can go back and you can look at things this way, but it's very slow. So what we've been experimenting with is different ways to navigate through large documents. Like this one, I think is 800 pages. And we've tried having the name of the author and the title, maybe the beginning. We even did a VR experiment where we did half the page. So we had it on a wall so you could easily see many people's articles at the same time. But it turned out that just like you can do left arrow and right arrow to, hang on, I will start from the front for you, make it a bit more cohesive so I don't just click all over the place. Let's say you've been reading the foreword by Vint Cerf. And then you go in, you read what I've written, it's all very exciting. You get a bit bored, you don't want to read more about what I've written. You can keep clicking. And of course you can keep clicking quickly, but chances are you're going to click over the page of the next person. So what we've done, because these PDF documents with visual meta have headings that are known by the system, the down arrow goes to the next top level heading. So this is how I can run through the document. And when I get 2 pages like this, I can get a very good idea of what the article is about. Much better than just seeing a little bit of text. So look, now we've got 200 pages already. So this is what's interesting with navigation. Sometimes AI is great. Sometimes VR is brilliant. Other times you just want an arrow that works in a different way. So here is Ken Perlin, brilliant piece. Quite a few pages because I included a lot of his screenshots. But what if I'm going through the book and I've already read his stuff? If I click down arrow, I'll go straight to Olivia. What do you think?
I think it's great, but you really need to tell people, otherwise this can be also quite frustrating. If you're actually trying to use the arrow in the usual way, and then it's not working. I feel like it's something I would want to know before.
I have to open the door. I'm so sorry. Hang on. But that is a very good point, and that is a big issue. And leave the door open a little bit so when your brother comes, he doesn't ring the doorbell. Is Anton coming? Oh, okay, fine then. I thought he was. Sorry about that. Ivan's coming for piano. Yeah, the whole thing of people knowing these things is really frustrating. So, and really important. So if we now skim all the way back to the beginning, there is this little guide, and as these capabilities are more, it's listed here, but it's pretty darn boring to read. So we need to do it something, maybe what we're doing now.
Yeah. Then what do you need to do? Like once you're into the article that you're interested in reading, how do you actually read the article? What arrow do you use?
Oh, you used right and left to go page, up and down to go section.
Right, okay.
So here was a bit of a surprise. This is the meeting we had last week, where you were part of course. Here is the transcript. So I've just exported and show it to you basically. So this is the basic version. Just going to go back to the beginning, I'm sorry. So it has the table of contents. It has that information about how to read this if you are on this software. Has a few pre-session articles. But then what happens is this stuff that is italic, I'll find a better example here. So Alan Laidlaw started talking. And because there were some short lightning talks, anywhere that someone talks for more than a minute or two, when it's not just a quick response, I have taken that text, run it through OpenAI, and this italic stuff is a summary, the main points.
That's cool.
Yeah, and as we saw earlier, it's quite slow with the AI at the moment, and we're recording in 2013, late April, early May area. It may get super fast in the future, but it does suggest that maybe these summaries really are for the editor.
You mean for the editor to create?
What's that?
You mean for the editor to create?
Yes. So I'm the editor of this thing. So I have a problem, which is why been working on these things. A problem just proofreading. I'm not good at it. So that's why I did the thing we talked about earlier, where I select text, space bar, you get it in a different view, experimenting with this type of stuff. So what I mean is when you go through a transcript or a document, me as the editor, I do the summary and put it in, not the reader.
Okay.
So one thing that I'm going to try to do is build a prompt to do this next stage. Let me close this. This is one thing that's quite weird. So let me just find a big block of text. Okay, so here's Alan Laidlaw, right? So what I do when I'm in Reader, in Author, I launch it into Liquid. What's going on with Liquid now? We're just getting a new, I have to quit Liquid because they're sending me a new build. Do you want to see how we do that? Obviously, I'll edit this out too. Do you want to see how many versions of Reader there's ever been?
I'm scared.
469 so far.
Jesus.
I'll save that. And then I wonder why it won't quit. That's really weird. I'll launch it this way. Okay, that's better. And then on test flight, it'll say, oh, we can upgrade. Update. So even just a basic test like this has to go to Apple servers, be verified by them, and then me as a tester gets access to it. They can't just send me a build and have it run. Oh, suddenly I can see you. Why is this going slow?
Could you not?
Here we go. Okay. So in the middle of all that, I had to update some software, but here is Liquid. And Liquid now has Ask AI built into it. Some of it is for reading, some of it is also for writing. But what is interesting I found recently is if I do this and launch into Reader, doing the main points is what you just saw. This is done in this way. So what I would do here is just copy these and then paste them above. And currently it has numbers, and I'm going to have it not have numbers, but the reason I don't want to have the numbers is this is for an editor author. So there will be some removal and stuff. So that's quite cool. But let's not do that now. Let's do something else.
But I quite like the idea of bullet points without the numbers, but I feel like bullet points visually would work better.
Bullet points are great. I will continue to do that for those sections. I've removed the ones that are a bit weird or obvious, but yes, in general, bullet points are good. Do you want the actual bullets or just listing as a...
The bullets, I want the bullets, because that visually tells me immediately that it's a summary. Otherwise, if it's just the italics, I might feel maybe it's some subtitle or, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that's explained in the beginning, but still, yeah, absolutely. Okay, I will, we will do that. So what I've done here is clearer language. So you can compare these two paragraphs just briefly, right?
So AI has done that?
Yeah, AI did this.
What was the prompt?
Clearer language.
Clear language. Okay.
And I
So
will
it has
show you.
nothing to do with syntax, but it has something to do with the simplicity of words.
So this is the prompts. In Liquid, you can make your own. So all it does in this one is clear language. For something like timeline, the prompt is, well, it should be create a timeline out of this, but you can edit those here, make your own. So the idea is just, I personally hate copy proofing. I can't do it. So I'm trying to help myself and hopefully therefore also help others. So let's try together. Minute. We have a little bit of time left. So let's go to OpenAI on the web, because you are really good at this. So what could a good prompt be before this to just, make it look better?
I don't know if this will work, but so turn sort of spoken words into written style language. I don't know how you would put that, but basically this is somebody speaking, so it comes in with all sorts of fillers and things, and we want to make it into proper written form.
That's really, really good. It may not work, but this is exactly the sort of thing we should experiment with. It changed absolutely to certainly. That's not good. Yeah, so this made it fancy, which is not what we want. So that's fine.
But it's not just fancy, it's a lot easier to read.
It is. So, okay, let's try a different one with edit to remove spoken affectation.
It's thinking.
It's weird, this, isn't it? And this thing about people saying that these AIs currently, all they do is guess the next word is just not correct. Oh, it starts. Oh, it's doing it slowly. That's also interesting. very slow. Wow, okay. America must have woken up. Usually slows down then. I'm going to do some things for you here. What do you think of that?
Yeah. What is this thing with no break on full stop if immediately followed by a number? Is it because it's a citation?
That's right.
Gotcha. Yes.
I wonder if it's working when we're not there.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is work a little bit about the... Okay, I'm just going to stop generating here. Going to do it again with removing the word edit. So the video we're recording today is a bit different than expected. And now what I'm going to do, check this out. We go back to liquid, I go click on the gears, and then I make a new. That's exactly the same as the prompt. And I don't know what shortcuts I have left. Can I use R? No. Okay, I'm going to remove the R. We'll add it here. So now we'll just do it ourselves. AR. Because then you have said you wanted bullets. I think that's absolutely fine. I agree with you. So we're going to change it to that. So I select all. There's an issue here. The first line is removed, but they're fixing that right now. So not a big deal. So this is what AI did earlier. So now we're replacing it with this. So how do we make that AI like this maybe? Because while we think about that, I'm just going to do a single one of these italic. I'm going to just do, that's not what I'm going to do. Do it like this. Should they still be italic or not?
Yeah.
For fun,
Is
should it be
this...
bold? Bold is too hard to read, right?
Yeah. No, I'm wondering if it's something that to play with in views. And I don't know what the current thing is with views, but instead of having everything together, could I switch to a view where all the contributions are written as written words and not as, just transcripts?
This is the best kind of inventing, because no and yes. I thought about something like that earlier today, but I dismissed it as being too hard. But check this out. So, oh, did I close that? Okay, let's open it again. So we talked a little bit about annotation. So let's say this is really interesting. So you just Command-Shift-H to annotate it, to highlight it. If you now do Command- to see the outline, There it is.
Hmm.
So that goes somewhere to address that. So if you come across interesting things, you can, by the way, also do yellow highlights. I don't like that, but it's possible. So that's just a preference. But when you're on this view, they appear like that, like normal text. So what I'm wondering is if, because here's another thing that is super cool. So I'm reading Pete Kaminsky's bit, and I think, okay, this is cool. I'm going to do exactly what I showed you earlier. I Command Shift, that's how I want to do it. I go into this document and I paste it. Notice how it's not citing me because I'm the editor. It knows it was Pete.
Hmm.
The reason it knows it's Pete is, and I'm going to delete this now because you know how it works, is if I command click on a heading, there's a hidden feature for editors. It's in the user guide. I don't expect every user to get it. You can do two things. You can write a note to yourself, which means that when you then fold the document, there will be a little
Start.
yeah, just a little star, just to remind you that maybe you have to work on that section. But if you click show options, you type in the name of the contributing author. So what I'm
So
wondering is,
you have to do that manually.
yes, and this is very much experimental software. In a production, I would probably want it to be able to say every level, whatever heading, is actually the name of the author of that heading. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Then it can be automatic. But right now, I don't mind making work for myself. But imagine if this was the note, and on export that was included, so that when you do this, if there is a note underneath it, it shows it to you.
So are you saying that you want the sort of rewritten contribution to be saved as a note? So that will be one way of seeing the document with all the easy to read contributions.
Yeah, I'm wondering, because I need to save money as a developer, as any developer, whether big or small. I can't just tell Jacob now to just reprogram things. I'm saying with the infrastructures we have, if what you just said, I think is correct. So I cut the AI, or it could be manually written, but it is kind of what that bit is. It could be a single sentence. Because then when it's exported, if it's exported with what's in the notes showing up in the overview screen, then this shows all of that. You can read the whole document like that. And you just click through to get the bigger bits.
I mean, you could also do that with the bullet points if you
Yeah,
want to.
exactly. You could do whatever, and I think that's very useful. That here's the thing. I had a meeting with my brilliant advisor Dave Millard this week, and he said that there's 7 different types of hypertext apparently. One of them is hypertext for thinking, which is what I have with author and the map view and all of that stuff. Like here, I haven't defined. Oh, okay. I guess I have defined. This is.
Wow.
So obviously this is So this is hypertext for thinking, because it's my brain and it's not designed for you to read. But when you do things like we just talked about, that's hypertext for presentation.
Yeah.
So for instance, okay, so these people right now, I have done some improvements. If I go to the map, what I can do is show concepts contained in the document only. And then it removes all these other contexts. Right now, I think it's thinking a bit, right? So if you click on my name, put me to the side, and it says why Ted Nelson is connected to me. People are actually starting to use this now. It's really cool. So when doing the thing of having the the bullet points or not bullet points, italic or not. I think it would be useful if the reader software knew what was AI generated. But then you may choose not to tell it because, for instance, in some of these, it would say the subject says that so and so. I delete that bit, I edit it. But it is still a known summary of that section, as in it's a summary is a summary.
I think it'd be good to disclose that it's made by AI. Just sort of ethically speaking, let's say.
Oh, I say here in text, I write it out straight. But what I mean is, I think the individual author, because it's a summary, should be able to choose that, because some authors may want it automatically to be done with AI and credit the AI end of story. Others may use a light touch where they take the AI and edit it quite a bit, or even do it
Right.
manually. That's, yeah.
Gotcha.
I agree with the bullet points. And for the future of text last year, some of the presentations were quite long and listy, so I did take people's words and bullet point them. I'm intrigued though. I'm going to try to see if it's feasible for Jacob to do what we just said. So so this chat today turned from me showing you stuff to us inventing something new. Great. Expensive
Sorry.
talking to you. Here's an example. So here's Peter Wasilko. Peter Wasilko is a brilliant person, but he tends to go on a bit.
Yeah.
And to have this, it really covers it. Psychological realism, thesaurus, limitations, more obscure, higher level control supervision, tiger teaming, which I had to look up, it's a real thing. Comparison with literate programming, suggested approach for students. Wow.
Yeah.
Those who want to can read this, but for me to go through and find every ah and and repetition, forget it.
Yeah.
So did we decide on a
On the prompt?
yeah on the remove spoken affectations? I guess we need to experiment some more.
Yeah. We'd have to see the level of editing that it does, because do you still have access to the 3 different prompts that we tried for the same text?
Yeah.
So it'd be good to compare and contrast and see what we think is best.
So this is going to be that.
It'd be interesting if it removes elements of humor, like my advanced age tells me, blah, 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 whether AI deletes that or dampens it down.
Removes it.
Well, that's one thing to consider. It takes away personality and
Which is good for one level of overview.
yeah.
But you should absolutely have access to the color that people bring.
Yeah.
So what would you prefer to read? This, or this? As in this, or this?
I think I'd go for
On
the
a
bullet
first read.
points first. Then I read the edited version. And then if I'm super interested, I read all the blabbering, because I would never, if I can choose, I would never read transcripts of spoken language because it's just not good to read.
I've removed this because of the other things, but now that we have this thought of the editor putting it in and maybe putting it in, maybe a sentence would be good. Let's see if it's completely useless.
I think a sentence might be more complicated. There's a lot. Yeah, well, then it's really long sentences and.
Hang on, I had things in the way here. I lost the liquid. Ah, this screen sharing is in the way. Let me just do it one more time here. Copy. So here is another version. The speaker and they, that's annoying and
Yeah.
interesting.
Maybe we need to add write in the first person or something in the prompt.
Isn't it amazing to be able to just do that?
Yeah.
And what's exciting for me is with the whole reading thing, doing spacebar, our hands are incredibly adept at doing things. So spacebar or doing the trackpad makes sense, but keyboard shortcuts can get really non-human. So let's see. It did do it on first person, but that isn't that isn't him talking.
No.
So maybe preface.
Yeah. It's tricky, this one. So maybe what would the prompt be, like removing the person, like just keeping the concepts? Summarize in one sentence. That's hard. As if it was an essay or something like that? No? Because in an essay, you never really use I. It's always like, what's the word in English? Like
But
general.
we want it to be short, right?
Yeah. What's the difference between simpler and clearer language?
Let's find out.
I need to go in 5 minutes because I have a singing lesson.
Singing.
Yeah.
Cool. So this was the first one of those. Yeah, no, we have things happening here too, I'm afraid. So that was simpler. Let's do Clara now. Yeah, in 3 minutes there will be loud piano from the hallway. So,
Okay.
but thank you for today. This was really fruitful. Really, really appreciate going through this with you. Also, this dialogue is too tall, isn't it? Should make it a half size. What do you think?
Yeah.
Can I do that? No.
Okay, so simpler also kind of summarizes it a bit, whilst clearer just takes the words and make them easier.
combining listy with yeah, this is good. Clara is better
Is it?
for a quick rush through overview, I think. Okay, so I would delete the hellos and stuff for all of them. So yeah, just wanted to show you detail on. So what I thought I'd be using it for is, let's say I've written this, and now I do. What else might I consider?
Yeah.
So in our interface, it all comes out in one. I don't see the click, click, click. I'm not sure if we can make that happen, because you may not be sure if it's really working or not. On the web, remember it spelled
Yeah, then it comes like one, yeah, I get it. Which is why it's taking so long, because it's waiting for it to finish.
probs. Piano's gonna happen any second now. Nice that it's separated in paragraphs. So my homework now, I'm going to send you the result, is to make a better edit prompt from transcriptions and make liquid dialogue half height. What else that I haven't already told the programmers? Oh, okay. Check this out. Do you have another few seconds?
Yep.
Thank you. Can I do this myself? List it. Okay, don't worry about the shortcut. Okay. Now it should give me bullet points. It's crazy how that is possible. Just a year ago, talking about this would be nonsense.
Have you read The Economist? It was all about AI.
Oh yeah, Tom wrote it. It says,
I figured, yeah.
okay, that's not the right kind of bullet points, is it?
No.
But is it okay? Maybe it's actually better.
Like, what if you put a round bullet point in the prompt?
Yeah, no, I just wondered if it happened to be.
It's crazy.
Oops. Spacebar, A for ask, and then I had A as the bullet points because I use it the most, so it's all points. That's why it doesn't say list points main, it lists all. Little details. And I'll make myself a cup of coffee and see what happens. No, it doesn't like that, but that's fair enough for now. It's also very easy to do in author, of course.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you very much.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure.
How was it now? That's excellent. I can honestly say that the pleasure was 99% all mine.
No, it's cool. I like where this is going. It's interesting and useful. So.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for saying that. One of the things I'm having problems with is getting it used in my own community, the future of text, because we
Yeah.
have these sessions and then people don't seem to like to write stuff. So I'm trying to make it as easy to cite and write, almost as easy as to post on something like Twitter.
How is it going with talking to students?
I haven't really been doing that for a while. It's
Mhm.
something that I now feel that the citing and all of that is robust enough to do. So that's coming back.
Okay.
So if you're a student listening to this, buy the software. If you can't afford it, if you want to try it, download the basic version. If you really want it and you're going to help me sell it to everyone, tell me and I'll give you a free version, okay? Just don't tell your friends.
Okay. I'm really sorry, but I have to go.
Yeah, me too. There's plenty piano going on. Again, thank you very much for today. Bye.
Thank you. Ciao.